This is Tim Phillips, and welcome to Motivated Jogger. One of the dreams for this whole channel is to bring in a collection of speakers to bring information and workshops to groups, to networks, to the inner city, to the outer city, to companies and countrymen alike. And it all started really early for me. In fact, most of my life, over half of it, well, I didn't have any goals, desires. The education was missing in me. I got my degree in college, but to what extent? In fact, when I graduated from college, I was probably more empty than when I started. I mean, I had more questions that needed to be answered. Great. Before college, you're going to school. You're going to study engineering. You're going to study math. You're going to study English. And then after college, apply it. And I didn't have much of an application. At least I wasn't guided towards it. I used the word empty. I'm that person that a family of four living in nice suburbs who would just silently disappear from the family and no one knows what happened. That's kind of my background. And to find mentorship that I found that taught me, that gave me the books, the association to move forward is priceless. In fact, I feel quite lucky. I mean, beyond lucky. It's like this really happened. No one gave me anything. I had to do the reading. I had to do the association, and I had to do the applying. But where do I associate? Who do I talk to? What books out there actually have some good information for me to use? And how do I apply it? You see, I was about 25 years old, and a gentleman came into my life, and he looked me in the eyes. And have you ever had anyone look in the eyes and they lie right to you? Because this guy did. He came to me and says, "Tim, you look like an intelligent person." And I mean it. He said that right to me at that point. And anyways, he kind of guessed, as you're guessing, I'm kind of jesting here. But he did say that to me, and I never saw myself as an intelligent person, but he got my attention. And he said, "Tim, I would like you to evaluate this book." But since he did invest in me, I was able to say, yeah, I think I will do that. And I did. I read the book. The book was called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And that's what started my journey. And we did this for 2 more books and so forth. And I kind of caught on to his game. Okay, I'm an intelligent person. Great evaluation. But you understand, it's really hard for me to read because I don't like to. And he said, Tim, you really don't have to. I don't have to read. You don't have to like to. But if you're going to be something better than where you're at, you're going to have to read. You're going to have to learn things that are uncomfortable so you can have things that are great, that are magnificent. This went on for quite some time, and I was able to ride through some of the ranks at my corporation. I was able to go from just being a technician to actually running a department in a very short period of time, and I was going great. Around 2001, making more money than I ever saw in my life. And then 2001 and a half, lost my job. The big corporations weren't buying anything anymore. I was in Chicago, and my company dropped 13,000 of us into the marketplace. Do you know what happens to your income and the job opportunities when there's 13,000 of you competing for the same job? I hope you never find out. But it was a tragedy. Remember, I'm studying. I got some mentorship in my life, and I'm studying, and it's all gone. And not only was it getting gone, it was getting squeezing, but my life was getting tighter and falling apart, really. Because without that identity of my job, I didn't have anything else to fall back on. You know what that's like? 1 year goes by. 2 years goes by. I mean, I wasn't sitting still. I was trying to make a job happen. I think I was selling copy for a time. But 1 year goes by. 2 years goes by. And you're sitting there, and you go to bed at night and you look at the ceiling. Is this going to happen again tomorrow? Is this what I went to school for? Is this what my life has come to? I was 32 years old, couldn't find a job, and we're now looking at losing the house. Marriage getting kind of shaken up, a little bit of lost faith. And once again, I go to bed, and all I see in that ceiling is fear. How am I going to get myself out of this? And that's all that spiraled through my head. And the next morning, a half tempt to get up out of my bed and make something happen. And then something changed at 32. All of that knowledge I put in my head suddenly became applied. I was learning to apply what I knew in the books about going the extra mile, about making things happen out of nowhere. How about getting your environment to help you on your goal. And the goal at that time was, for me, is to have respect from my family and not to lose the house, to simply keeping a house. When you're 3 months behind on your bills, that becomes a real big, maybe even out of reach goal. One cool thing is I did become a man of faith in that time frame. And when I went to church one time saying, Lord, what do I do? And the answer came back. Remember, all this education, all this book wisdom, and the answer came back, go into cleaning. Wasn't my first on my list. It wasn't the 15th on my list. But when you're out of hope, when your belly button hits your backbone, you start grasping at straws. When you see the wife eyeing the neighbor's house, it starts getting you in your gut. And I went out there and I started working restaurants. Started with an IHOP. He said yes, freaked me out. Started with another location, freaked me out. People are coming on board, all the while not knowing how to sell into restaurants. I developed a prayer habit. I don't know what your background is, but for me, I needed something to get me over to the next, what am I going to do today? And I got into a prayer habit, not with myself. I called up someone else, and I had the dumbness. I said, hey, if I call you, will you pray with me? I'm going to sound weird. I'm going to sound odd, but I am going to sound like something. That's how pressured I was to change me. Let me kind of skip to the end of this little chapter. With that much effort, with that much fear turning into faith, with that much imagining this nightmare ending, within 1 year, I was able to put together 3 major corporations with my team, and I never had to worry about full-time work again. What price is that? It's like I feel like I ripped off the universe. This is for you, Tim. You did the work. Here is your reward. And it lasted for quite some time. In fact, it lasts right now to this day. I can go out and call up some of my old customers that I started 18 years ago, and they'll say hi. Hey, Tim, how's it going? How's the kids? The last chapter for this introduction would be what I'm doing right now. 15 years later, now I have the application. I'm talking to people. I'm meeting with them at restaurants, and I'm meeting them at Starbucks and so forth. And we go over the goal setting and what it takes to change this to this. And out of that, once again, another team came together. And we put together one book, and it sold pretty good. And my mentor at that time says, Tim, we got to bring this to a bigger, a better, a larger format. We got to put some workshops out there. And we did. And the second book came out, Goal Getter, a complete guide to limitless living. So this is my hope, is that not only do you go to bed at night and look at that same ceiling, and instead of seeing the fear, the problems, the faith, how am I going to put this together, to not only see solutions, but to see where you are going with this type of momentum, with this type of leadership in my life, with these type of books and association. This is what's coming. Do you know, as you approach these goals, this imagined self, your new best friends will come out of the woodwork and aid you, so much so that you start having best friends in areas you wouldn't even know it. Because other people are going through what you're going through. They're thinking what you're thinking about. They're thinking what I'm thinking about. And they don't hang around the water cooler. They don't hang around the cigarette bin. They're in line. They're making things happen. And when you are one of those people, you attract them. And now you're at the deli line. And that's what I hope for you. Please, go through these videos. Enjoy what you got to enjoy. Take what you got to take. Talk to me what you want to talk about. I would love to hear from every one of you. And I hope this might just change just a little bit of something. Be a blessing. Be a hero. But I'm looking forward to seeing you on the road.